He went straight up that tree. A moose in a tree was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's Monday night. Welcome to MCU Mondays. I am your host, David. How are you this evening? With me, as always, is my co-host, Debbie. Debbie, how are you?
I'm still recovering from the moose.
The moose in the tree?
Other than that, I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk about this first episode of season 2 of Loki because, wow, talk about chaos and wild and back and forth, past, future, present. I had to watch it quite a few times just to keep things straight.
It was I've watched it twice, maybe 3 times now. I don't remember. It's all kind of
it's a blur.
I feel like Loki and the time switch. So we are going to talk about Loki. So if you have not seen Loki season 2, episode 1 yet, Obi, Ouroboros, or Obi as we know him. If you have not seen it yet, then we are going to be talking spoilers. So let's hope you've seen it already. If you haven't and you don't care about the spoilers, great. If you haven't and you do care about spoilers, go watch Obi or go watch Loki and then come back and come back and catch us on the replay. But before we do this, I need to apologize to everyone. I have had a busy weekend, and I did not get a chance to do a new intro for Loki, so we still have the Daredevil intro, which I'll continue using once Daredevil comes back. But I'm going to find time to make a Loki intro. I promise I'll find some time this week, so long as Samuel doesn't drive me nuts with his video games. So here, we're gonna well, let me find it now. Now I can't even find it. So we're going to do our intro real quick, and then we'll come back and talk about Loki. So. Okay, like I said, I apologize. We're still on Daredevil. We are not talking about Daredevil. We are talking about Loki, season 2. Thank goodness Owen Wilson is back on TV. I love him to death. He's great. Anything he does is just amazing. I actually watched Zoolander not too awful long ago, and that's probably one of my favorite Owen Wilson movies, but have you seen Zoolander? Not the second one. The second one was junk, but the first one was amazing.
I think I've seen it once.
Ben Stiller, he's the male model.
Mm-hmm. Blue Steel,
La Tigra. They're all the same look. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. Same look. I love Zoolander. All right, let's talk about Loki, though. Season 2 kicks off. If you remember season 1, finale of season 1, Loki got kicked through the door of time after meeting up with the with He Who Remains. We are not talking. It's almost like the what's the Harry Potter thing? He who shall not be named, he who's not named, or whatever.
He who shall not be named. Yes.
Yeah.
Voldemort.
It's Voldemort. Dang it. So, He Who Remains. Loki's talking about him. We find out why. Now, at the end of season 1, he goes up to Owen Wilson and he's like, we gotta, he's coming. There's a lot of him coming, blah, 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 blah. Which we now know that there is a lot of him coming based on Quantumania. Yeah. The end credit scene of Quantumania. But there's a lot of him, and there's a lot of them coming. And then Morbius says something along the lines of,
Who the
"Who
hell
are
are
you?"
you?
Yeah, who are you? Exactly.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. We don't know why that happens because Loki is doing this time slipping. Time slipping. And it's actually an interesting concept. He's jumping from the past to the future, then back to the past, and it's very complicated. It's very confusing. This episode to me was I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong. I like the episode, but it was, you really kind of had to be paying attention as to what was going on, because
Yes.
there was a lot of okay, where is he now kind of things.
Yeah, you had to pay attention to the little things in order to know where he was in time. So there were always little clues here and there as to where he was.
I thought it was really interesting too, because some of these time travel movies, it's like and Back to the Future kind of touched on this, but not really. But he says, in the first one, he goes, "You want to witness the birth of Christ," and he plugs in December 25th, 0000 AD, and it's almost like, well, okay, that's fine. I'm going to time travel back, but based on the laws that is happening right now, especially with Back to the Future, he would go back to December the 25th of 00 in Hill Valley, California. He would be nowhere near where Jesus was born in Bethlehem. So, I mean, it kind of negated what he was talking about. But I will say this, and I really like this, is that all of his time travel was linear. Where he was when he shifted back, he was, well, when he shifted into the past or the future or whatever, he was in that room. They had the scene in the war room where he just ran in there and he saw the statues and everything, and all of a sudden he shifted and bam, he's there with Morbius and the timekeepers and everything else. So I like that it was H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells did it very well, where it was time happens, but we stay in the same spot, kind of
And
thing.
this being that they're in the TVA, the time going back and forth in time does not work like it does like when we were in Avengers.
Mm-hmm. And they even mentioned that 2 or 3 times, to where it's like, no, it's not supposed to happen that way.
Yeah.
So there is
time
no time in
skipping's
the
not even supposed to happen according to OB. So in the TVA, but
Obi-Wan?
anytime Loki went to the past to talk to Obi, and then Mobius would be talking to Obi in the present.
That was hilarious. That
Asking
whole
this
thing.
kind of like the same question or whatever. And, first he would say, no, you can't. Oh, wait. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Because Loki was
Because of the
explaining it to him in the
manifestation.
past. And all of a sudden he's like clicking, oh yeah. Or I can't even remember. It was like it was a time disruptor or something, whatever the machine was that they needed.
Extractor,
Extractor.
the
Yeah.
temporal aura extractor.
Well, good for you.
That's a mouthful.
It is. But he says, no, that kind of thing doesn't even exist. And then in the past, Loki kind of tells him, this is what we need to happen. Oh, well, I can build you one of those. And then all of a sudden up in the future, he's like, oh, wait a minute. We do have one of those. Yes, I remember now. The whole
great.
exchange there was great. Was just amazing. What's his name? Short Round from Indiana Jones is hilarious. Mm-hmm. He plays his part very well. He's the poor, sad little nerdy kid that sat in the back of the classroom that nobody really paid attention to, but he kind of knew everything.
Well, and evidently he is quite old. and
Oh yeah.
time doesn't really affect him down there, it seemed like, because his name, Ouroboros, or Rober, I don't even know how to say it.
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros, in mythology, is actually the snake that's eating its own tail.
Oh,
Basically, the symbol for infinity.
Infinity. All right.
So,
Well, there you go. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
wrong franchise.
You know what? Okay, so he played short round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The club that they went to, that they were at in the first scene, was Club Obi-Wan. Now we've covered 3 franchises with him. It's a beautiful thing. But they're also okay. So basically, we started off, and they're wanting to trim the branches because everything's so far out of the red, and they've opted not to because of moral reasons. You're going to kill countless people. Trimming. They called it trimming, but what did
Pruning.
pruning? You're gonna have to, because they told Loki that you're gonna have to prune yourself, basically.
Right.
So
Well, the thing is, they realized, and this happened somewhere in season 1, and you can hear when they're listening to a tape, and you can hear Loki explaining that all this pruning is not doing what they think they're doing. It's actually kind of evil, because the only reason it was being done was to protect Kang, or whoever. So
he who remains.
yeah. So well, his evil counterparts, his evil variants. But yeah, so now, and then they also learned that everybody's minds there in the TVA have been wiped.
They're all variants. Basically, everybody in the TVA is a variant,
Or Obi.
Except for Obi.
He's the only one who hasn't had his. I kind of wonder if Kang forgot about him down there in the basement.
You know what? I think he even mentioned something about that, to where he says, yeah, he's the only visitor I've ever had.
Yeah.
So
Morbius. Yeah.
Morbius, yeah. And he was there just, oh, I'm on the wrong floor, and he left. Oh yeah, I forgot now. Yeah, I stuck around and we chat. No, you left immediately.
So yeah, so Obi knows everything. His mind's never been wiped. He's not a variant, but everybody else is. Their minds have been wiped. God only knows how many times.
And honestly, it kind of makes sense too, because, and we touched on this with the first season, where he had the affinity for jet skis.
Mm-hmm.
And we were looking at it going, oh, I bet by the end of this show he gets a jet ski and he'll be happy and blah, 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 blah. Well, now you're looking at it going, oh, because he's a variant, and in his life on Earth before he was pulled into the TVA and made to work at the TVA, he probably was a jet skier. And that's just something in his subconscious that he's retained, even though his mind has been wiped.
Mm-hmm.
God only knows how many times.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, no, that's a different time-related person. That time doesn't work the same way. Time doesn't work the same way down here. So, that was one of the best lines. I'm sorry, it wasn't even a line. It was just him making a face, and it was like, oh, Jeff, you're amazing. I love you. We know you watch sometimes, so thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Thank you for everything that you do for everybody. Anyway, you know what? I would like to see him pop in here somewhere. That would make my day. We're dealing with time, and he's a timeless being. Why not? Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, he is part of the MCU, so
there you go.
And he's a
He's
Is he a
a
full god or just a semi god or
no
just a
no no
deity?
no. He's a oh, not an eternal,
Celestial?
celestial. I think he's a
Okay.
celestial. I think he made mention of that to where he's one of those, but I could be wrong. But I haven't watched Ragnarok in a minute or two, so I think he's a celestial. Not the big ones, but like the ego type ones. So anyway, where were we? We're talking about they're pruning, trimming things. Loki pops in and pops in and then pops back out. And does that look like that hurts? Or he goes, does that hurt? Because it looks awful. You said it doesn't look that bad. Well, it looks horrible.
It does. It looks horrible. Morbius said it looks like you're dying and being born all at the same time.
And just the banter between these two. I mean, not necessarily between. I mean, yeah, between Morbius and Loki. I mean, Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson play very well off of each other. I think because
if you've seen them behind the scenes.
I haven't.
They're exactly the same.
Oh yeah,
it's the same kind of banter that they do on the show.
Nice.
Yeah, so
all right,
chemistry's great between those two.
Tom and Owen, if you're watching, I would like to have coffee with you next time you're in the Dallas area. Call me, and we'll go have coffee because I just want to hang out with you two because you would be awesome. Anyway, so shut up. You know you'd be jealous.
Yeah, because I would embarrass myself if I had. Well, I don't even drink coffee, but even if I just sat there
and had a bottle of water, yeah.
If I was in a corner and you were talking to Tom Hiddleston, I would probably lose it. So,
it has to be both of them. It's a pair. I got to take the pair.
Both of them, but I would be in the corner drooling over Tom Hiddleston. So,
well, there you go.
And embarrassing myself and
because you're drooling. That's gross.
Yeah, I know. Well, I would have a drool bucket so it wouldn't go down my shirt or anything. So,
but they had but I mean, even when they go down to Obi's desk, and they're talking to him, and it's been like what 300-400 years or so, and yes, tell us about that. What happened then? Who else has been down here?
How's the other guys?
Yeah, tell us about the other guy.
He's trying to play it off like he kind of knows what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just that there's great chemistry there, and it works. It works. I don't care if you don't think it works. I think it works. It works for me. On my level, it works for me, and I liked it. Oh, I just saw the cat.
Yes, she's
sneaking around.
Yeah. Go lay down. Oh, she found her bed. Yay. Hopefully she lays down and goes to sleep.
There you go. But we find out that we've got to we've got to Mobius has to plant the whatever extractor device into the heart of the TVA, basically, and Loki has to extract himself from every point in time ever. So in other words, he has to prune himself. And if Mobius doesn't do it in enough time, he's going to lose all of his skin.
His skin will be peeled off. Who comes up with this stuff? Good Lord.
I'm sitting here going, his skin will be peeled off. Uh-huh. All right. But I mean, they kept saying it too, and it was funny because it kept getting repeated. He's going to pull my skin off? Yeah, but at least I'm going to be ripped from every aspect of time. Yeah, but what kind of life is that? Walking around with no skin. Again, the banter, the healthy banter between the two. It's great.
It was great.
We did get a post-credit scene, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Because just remind me that we have a post-credit scene, because I'll forget. I know I will. I'm old and it's late, and I've had a busy weekend. So, let's see. So they end up doing this, and again, Owen and what is that kid's name?
One.
Yeah, Short Round or Data. We can call him Data if you want to go with the Goonies thing, because he was in the Goonies.
Let me look up his name. Because
K.Hugh Quinn, is that right? It's something along that lines. If I butchered your name, sir, I apologize. We're looking it up.
We love you because you're just so adorable.
You are. You're just as cute as you were back in 1983.
Kang Kwan.
Kang Kwan. Okay.
I'm not saying it right, but I do apologize.
So, but just the banter between him and, all you've got to do is what did he say? It was not hustle out there. What was he talking about in that suit?
Puffy suit looks so stupid.
It was almost as bad as the suits the Guardians were wearing, the Teletubby suits.
I mean, he was like a miniature.
What was the line? It was
Marshmallow Man.
You're gonna have to scuttle out of there pretty quick. How do you expect me to do that in this suit? Is that a crack? He puts the duct tape on it. Oh, you're fine.
Put duct tape on it. Hey, the duct tape held up, but when everything else
started failing. Yeah. Hang on, I gotta find out what he said, because now it's gonna drive me crazy.
I think it was Scuttle. Wasn't it Scuttle?
I don't recall. I don't know. It's not on my thing.
I don't think I wrote it down.
I have no memory of having my memory wiped. Another great line. I would hope not. They got Agent J and K down there with their little neuralizers.
Right, Men in Black. Oh, Lord.
Well, hey, that's a Marvel property. It's possible. But
and also on one of those the tape that Loki was listening to.
Yes.
It was a conversation between he who remains. Or whatever. Kang, that's who he is. And Ravonna, is that her name? Ravonna?
Yes.
Ren's player.
And the only reason I'm going to say yes to that 100% is because, like I said, my youngest is into the Lego games now. I've actually found him a different one. We're playing Lego Batman 3 now, but he was playing Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, which the villain in that was Kang. And as you're flying around, Kang's making all these announcements and stuff from his ship. And if anyone has seen Ravonna, tell her that there is a bee loose in my quarters and it needs to be taken care of.
Well, he even says her name, but it seems like, there's a little bit of Bodio Dodo in there.
Oh, yeah. I think it's one of those things, if I recall, it's like,
I think in the comics they had a relationship, yeah?
I think so, and I think it's more along the lines of Thanos and Lady Death in the comic books, to where Thanos wants Lady Death to acknowledge him, but she doesn't want anything to do with him. So that's why he's got the Infinity Gauntlet and he kills a bunch of people. But I think it's opposite here to where she wants Kang and she loves Kang and wants everything, but Kang is too preoccupied with
himself
conquering. I think that's the way it works. I think again, the comics, I'm not for 100% sure, and if I'm wrong, please feel free to comment and correct me, and I will take your comments with a grain of salt and never say anything else about it. I promise.
Yeah, he well, in the tape, he's talking about leading with her.
Yeah.
To lead the
and I think she is a because I think Loki says something about magic too, and I think she's like a magic wielder.
Well, and he's
like a sorceress, I think is what she is.
Hold on, because he says something about let's see, because he's talking about they kidnapped you from the timeline, erased your memories she can access through enchantment. That was the quote. So evidently, I don't know, was that even shown in season 1 that she was some kind of sorcerer or
sorceress? I'm thinking that was the comics, but like I said,
evidently they're bringing that to live action because he says through enchantment. So evidently she can cast spells or something.
Oh, I gotta take that back. He was in love with her. So there you go.
And she didn't want nothing to do with him?
No.
She just interested in the power, or?
It says, okay, so I'm looking at her first appearance, which was Avengers 23 in 1963, and her debut issue. Ravonna is introduced as the daughter of King Karelius, the steadfast ruler of Other Earth. When Kang the Conqueror invades her timeline and makes a move for her hand, the princess faces conflict over the protection of her people. So it's almost like she, just to keep her people safe,
but her variant was a high school principal in Ohio. So did he erase her mind? Or was she laying undercover when she was a principal? I'm so confused.
I don't know. It's whew, there's a lot there.
There's a lot.
So anyway, she again she's mentioned, and we don't know. I'm gonna assume she'll be in this season because she made it out of the first season alive. But anyway, so they're doing the extraction, and Loki's got to prune himself when the lights turn green, and he all of a sudden jumps back. Did he jumped to the past, right? I think. And he saw Sylvie crawling out of the elevator. And she says something along, "Oh, there you are." And then all of a sudden he pulled himself. He pruned himself. I don't know if he got pruned. And that was was that the first time we saw Sylvie other than the
that's the only time we saw her outside of
we saw her on this episode other than the recap.
Right. in the
So
post
that,
credits.
and they've been looking for her. In fact, they've got the TVA,
All the hunters.
yeah, the hunters for the
They were
TVA.
using a lot of hunters because
Well, she
Hunter
even said, oh,
Hunter
go ahead.
B-15, who's been with Mobius, she when she watched them going through the time doors, she says that's awful lot of hunters. Like they
That's
shouldn't take
are
that
all
many.
is all of this for they said she even said, I think, is all of this for Sylvie?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's kind of overkill for one variant. So I'm kind of wondering, do they think that Sylvie is more than just a variant? Do they think there's something more to Sylvie than
Either that or there's something else going on because X5 and one of the council members, I think her name was Docs. I don't know if their
was that the
mother,
older lady? Who was the older one?
not the small person.
Yeah, was that okay?
It was the other one, but they were acting weird because it was like
The
they
one with
started.
the one with the Scottish accent. There was two of them, right? It was
Yeah,
the old one with the tiny hands and everything, and then
there was
the
two ladies and a guy who was sleeping.
well,
Or pretending to sleep.
he was probably at his kid's band competition all weekend long, so he working and tired. I get it.
Yeah, they touched heads together like Fury and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, and I was like, so is that mother and son, or are they involved? Because she was totally against stopping the pruning.
Are they scrolls?
And I don't know, and he was an asshole throughout the whole episode anyway. So maybe there's a subplot between them and their
We've got
sending.
we got what, 8 episodes of this one? I
I
think,
think so. Yeah.
and we're just starting off, so we're just kicking it off. It's just now happening, so it's not like we need it. I don't want to say we don't need to. Oh, I'm only showing 6.
Only 6?
I would hope there would be more than 6. IMDb only has 6 listed. Oh, but there was only 6 in the first season too.
Was there?
Oh, that might be disappointing then.
Hmm.
I was hoping for at least 8.
Sorry about that. I dropped my phone. I was so mad.
I was so mad.
I mean, only 6 weeks of Tom. Come on.
I know.
Come on.
It's horrible. But then we get the post-credit scene with Sylvie too, which was why Oklahoma and why 1980.
1982. It was Braxton, Oklahoma, 1982. No,
Is
wait.
there some significance? I know you like to do research on these things. Is there some significance to that?
Yeah, 1982. Now, there was something. Oh, gosh. I meant to look it up and I didn't. But there was something in the comics. And I don't know if it refers to Kang. But yeah, it was the exact same place, I believe, in the same year. Braxton, Oklahoma, or at least in Oklahoma. But something in the comics in relevance to Loki or to Kang, I believe. I should have looked it up and I didn't. I got preoccupied at work. So.
Oh. Okay.
Was I close?
So Braxton, Oklahoma was the home to Asgard in the Thor comics.
Oh,
And being that wow, and Lady Loki first appeared during the Braxton era of Thor. Well, there you go. So there is a comic tie to that. All of that happened in.
why the hell would they pick Oklahoma? I would think they would want, because in the movies, aren't they by an ocean or sea or something?
Yeah, it's almost like they're in a northeastern shanty
Yeah, which
town.
makes sense because, you know,
Oh yeah, because they're Vikings.
yeah. So who the hell came up with Oklahoma? That's just odd and peculiar.
Let's see. So for some months, the ordinary citizens of the town had to contend with ancient and powerful gods who were living among Asgard. Asgard actually floated above the ground, making it even more off-putting to the nervous residents.
Oh, weird.
So there you go.
Okay. Well, I was kind of right.
There apparently there was something that happened and maybe they're trying to tie it back to the comic books, and especially if this is where Lady Loki made her first appearance, and now we're seeing that she is a variant of Loki, and she is making her first appearance on this particular Earth. That, of course, sure, why not? Braxton, Oklahoma, 1982.
Mhm.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because when I first seen that, I was like, "Oh, is she in the 70s?" Because I was confused when it said 82, and I was like, "That McDonald's looks like it's in the 70s."
Well, now McDonald.
Believe me,
Yeah,
I lived through the 70s. That looked like a 70. Of course, things in Oklahoma, they may not
they
keep
may
up
not move
with
as fast.
time.
Well, I'm thinking one, they may not move as fast, but two, you got to think too. Even in the 80s, the McDonald's looked like they were. I mean, it didn't change much from the 70s to the 80s. The interior, you still had the metal slides outside, the dumb hamburger that you could climb up into, and everything. It was all outside, and everything was like a bazillion degrees. So you got out there, and it was hot, or if it was too cold, and you still wanted to go out there and play, it was just cold. But oh, McDonald's, we miss you.
I eat there at least once a week.
You know what? We never did. We only got McDonald's if we were on a road trip somewhere, and that was like, because for us to eat out, we lived in a little tiny town. I mean, we had like 1,600 people in our town, and so for us to eat out was like a big deal. That was a huge thing. We had to drive a long ways out, and if we were on like a road trip, like driving to Georgia or Louisiana or wherever, seeing family or whatever, it was like, hey,
Well,
we get to stop at McDonald's. Woo!
well, in the 70s, I mean, of course, we lived downtown Fort Wayne, so uh, you know, I got a little bit of an allowance, but not much. So, the group of us neighborhood kids would go around and collect newspapers,
And soda bottles.
yeah, soda bottles. Oh my gosh. And mow lawns. Well, not in the winter, but in the winter we would shovel.
Shovel
And
driveways, yeah.
yeah, so we would go to McDonald's. And it was great when the Big Mac came out because they had this contest that if you could sing the little jingle that went with Big Mac.
2 all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on sesame seed bun. No, I don't know that one.
Yeah, you had to sing that within, I don't know, so many seconds. And if you got it under the whatever the time limit was, you got a free Big Mac. So guess where I was every day?
Getting free Big Macs. That's
every
right.
day. When they seen me coming, they would be like, "Oh God, there she is.
Not again. Just go ahead and make one. Just don't even bother. Just give it to her.
Get it ready."
She doesn't like pickles on it, so take them off.
But yeah, it was great because McDonald's was like 3 blocks from my house from where we lived. So
we had a Dairy Queen, and that was where everybody went on Sunday night. You go to Dairy Queen and get some ice cream, but that was like it. Was the Dairy Queen. Other than that, you've got to drive up to Dallas, which was like a 30 to 45-minute drive. So,
yeah, well, I live downtown, so everything was like 3, 4, or 5 blocks, walking distance. And, a bunch of us neighborhood kids would just hop on our bikes, and we had Azars, we had Penguin Point, and then you had all the big shopping stores, Sears, JCPenney's, Wolf and Dessauer. Yeah.
we got Sears and JCPenney's were only good towards Christmas time because that was the only time they had toys. Was like right around Christmas time.
And the Christmas catalogs.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I loved it when it came in the mail. I mean, we're talking this thick, people.
All the toys you could think of. We had. I was in my grandparent-in-law's attic looking for something for them the other day, and I found a catalog, and the company was called Best. It was but it was a order catalog from Best, and from 1983 to Christmas of '83 to spring of '84. So I was like, oh man, I was having all kinds of fun flipping through that. All the Star Wars stuff was there. There was old Lego sets in there. The Cabbage Patch Kids, they were all in there. And I was just like, oh, memories. Oh, memories.
Yes, I remember taking my little crayons and
circling what you wanted.
Circling everything I wanted.
Yeah.
Of course, we were poor, so I didn't get a lot of
stuff.
No.
No. It was always nice to wish, though.
Yeah, but I never got Barbies. I always got generic Barbies.
You got the fashion dolls.
Yeah. And they all work the same. Although, as I got a little bit older, I got the Barbie Jeep, the Barbie plane. My brother tried to get me the Barbie townhouse, I believe it was, but he couldn't find one. He said it was just hopeless. He couldn't find one anywhere.
You couldn't find the Barbie dream house?
No. That was like one of those Cabbage Patch things, people fighting over it. And yeah.
Ours was my brother collected the superpowers, which were like Super Friends, Batman, Robin, Superman. And then I had the G.I. Joes and Star Wars, of course. But with my brother 1 year for Christmas got the Hall of Justice. And that was huge. That was like, oh my gosh, you got a Hall of Justice. So didn't have anything else. All we had was a bunch of figures, but we had a Hall of Justice. So
back to Loki.
Now that we've jaunted down memory lane for about 3 miles.
We really went down the rabbit hole on that one.
It's fun to reminisce, though.
But anyways, yeah, she goes to order anything without a face and
yeah, anything that's wait, so long as it's dead and it doesn't have a face. I don't want possum or rat and she listed off a bunch of them.
I was like, oh my God, what have you been eating, girl? Jesus.
And they feasted on the lambs and the chickens and gazelles and orangutans.
So yeah, she ordered, I'll take everything.
I'll take one of everything. I'll take everything.
So I wonder if that's how she ends up working there because she has to pay off.
Yeah, I was going to say she
has no money.
Yeah. I don't think do restaurants do that anymore? If you can't pay your ticket, they'll let you go back in the back and wash dishes?
I do not know.
I think that
I
used
know
to
they
be a
did back
thing.
then.
Yeah, I was going to say that used to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've only got 35 cents instead of 50 cents. Well, you can come wash some dishes and we'll get the rest for you. Don't worry about it. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Pee-wee's Big Adventure was a great.
Mm-hmm.
He says, my wallet's gone. I think you've paid off that tuna melt. So he's washing dishes.
Either that or she just loves the food so much she decides to work there. Because, usually you get discounted food,
Right.
or
Oh, yeah.
sometimes, depending on where you work, you get free food. So maybe she just
If
likes
somebody
McDonald's.
messed up an order and you wait around long enough, yeah, you'll probably get the free food.
Gross.
What? It's under a warmer. It's fine.
I guess. As
It's
long
better
as
than
it's
not
warm,
eating, ain't it?
as long as it's warm, it's all right. But
Have you
French
seen our
fries
new?
aren't good.
Have you seen our new chicken McNuggets? I was like, oh,
Was that 82 when they came out
I
with
think it
nuggets?
was. I really do.
Because I'm like, God, I thought that was before that.
No, I thought it was later than that. Honestly, I thought it was mid '80s.
Well, I'm gonna look it up.
Oh well, there you go. So anyway, so Loki pops back in. I guess it worked. I guess he's going to no longer time slip anymore. But this raises another question. If he has extracted himself from every strand of time that there is, it in the first one they made it abundantly clear to where Loki got to the scene in Endgame, or not Endgame, in Infinity War, and that's where it stopped. That's where his life stopped. That's where, his movie or whatever that he was watching, he said, it doesn't ever go past this. This is where it ends. This is, you died here, basically. So having removed himself from every strand of time, has he extended his life now at this point, I wonder?
Oh, so we don't get Crocodile Loki and
all
the other Lokis
President Loki
that were there.
Glorious purpose.
They're at the what they call it, the void.
Do they all go away if they're at the?
I don't know.
Do all of his variants disappear?
So,
Well, obviously not, because Sylvie's still around.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. Be interesting to see how it plays out.
So the McNuggets were introduced in select markets in 1981. The nuggets were made available worldwide by 83. So, but you would think,
why is the select market in middle of nothing Oklahoma? Maybe because they got a lot of chickens there.
This could be true.
Whatever. But if you're gonna test it, you've got to test it amongst the rich people and the country hicks as well. So you gotta have a broad spectrum. You can't just say, oh well, the rich people like it, so obviously everybody's gonna like it.
And now you can't even afford to go.
Yeah, I know, right? Sometimes you can catch those the nuggets. You can catch 10-piece nuggets for like $5. That's not too bad. If you've got the app. If you get the app.
I don't have the app, but every Wednesday I get a McDonald's McDouble. Yeah. It's like a double cheeseburger, basically. Medium, small fry, and a large Diet Coke every Wednesday.
Do they still have? I haven't eaten breakfast there in a long time. Do they still have the thing where it's like the eggs and the sausage and the pancakes and all in one big thing? Does that still exist?
They may. It probably costs $30, but well, hell, a hash brown costs almost $5. A hash brown.
Oh,
yes, a hash brown.
If I go to McDonald's these days, I buy a 10-piece nugget and a drink. I don't even bother with the fries or anything. It's just like, give me the nuggets and the drink, and I'm fine. Once in a while, I might get a Big Mac just because, but mostly it's just the nuggets. So,
Big Mac.
you are not wrong. I took the boys to Chick-fil-A the other day, and it cost us $40 for 3 of us, for me and 2 boys. I was like, we could have gone to Chili's and eaten for cheaper than that. And that's getting an appetizer and drinks. But
well, if I go out to a sit down, usually it's with my kids, and of course they're all adults now, so I never have to pay.
yeah. Oh, Mom, we'll get it for you, Mom. We'll get it for you. Don't worry about it. So anyway, did we miss anything in this episode?
I don't know. Oh, let me look through my notes.
We can go out to a fancy grown-up brunch for almost less than McDonald's.
Now that's not a lie. That's facts.
I believe it.
Oh, just little a tidbit. Evidently, the TVA guidebook was written by Opie.
And it's on every desk. There's one on every desk.
And they call that time slipping. They call it spaghettified. Spaghettified.
Oh, because he looked like a bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah. Well, hello, multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
What happened to
Reed Richards?
Fantastic? Yeah,
Huh?
Reed Richards. Yeah. He looked like spaghetti.
Yeah.
Either that or Play-Doh that's being pushed through the little thing with the holes.
See on the commercials.
And also Miss Minutes wasn't working. She's a sly little chick.
She is, and it's really funny because Obi even mentioned something about that to where it's like, I don't, Miss Minutes usually just handles everything. I just come up here and run a diagnostic once every couple hundred years.
Right. Well, have you been on TikTok lately? Because Marvel's been putting out all these little TikToks, and they're kind of like commercials, and they're commercials about the TVA, and Miss Minutes is the voice behind it.
Oh.
They're cute and they're funny, but like, everything, if you go on break, it's 17 minutes. If you go to lunch, it's 17. There's something with 17 minutes. I don't know if that's going to come into play in the show, but
I think Miss Minutes is evil.
I think she is too. I know she is on Twitter. Some of the stuff she says, I'm like, okay, you go, girl.
All right.
But yes, I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Okay.
With the chaotic episode that it was.
And we are looking forward to episode number 2. Tuesday nights. Was it Tuesday nights? No.
Thursday nights. Mm-hmm. Because it was Ahsoka finale on Tuesday, and then Loki.
Because we were doing, we left. We got done with Cantina Happy Hour, and usually we hang out backstage afterwards and chit chat. But it was everybody bailed. Everybody was gone. It was like done. We got to go watch Loki. We were already half an hour into it, so anyway. Okay, shameless plugs. What do we got this week?
Lord, I don't know.
We got a lot of stuff.
Let's see. This is Monday. Okay, so Tuesday night, the Sith Dominion, Dr. Dana Martin, 2-part series on Revan. Everybody likes Revan, so tune in tomorrow night for part 1 on the Sith Dominion. Wednesdays.
I don't think there's anything on Wednesdays.
I know Cam and Focus uploaded last week. Well, he was a day late because he had technical difficulties, but he has a new Cam in Focus, another roast on the first Hitman movie with Timothy Oliphant.
He's doing all three. He's doing all three of the Hitman movies. He's doing one for each one, and this is the second one he's done. I think it's the first movie though.
And Timothy looks good with a bald head. I was like, damn.
And speaking of Timothy,
yes, Thursday night. Thursday night, we're going, since Ahsoka's over with, we are going back to the Mandoverse with season 2 of Mando, because we had finished up
season 1. We finished season 1. We did the Ahsoka episode, and then we started the Ahsoka series, and now Ahsoka's over with. So now time to go back to season 2. Cam, if you're watching, we're doing season 2, episode 1, The Marshal.
With Timothy Oliphant.
And quite possibly one of the most underused characters in Star Wars at this point, in my opinion. We needed more of him. So
yes. I thought we were going to get more. Well, I mean,
we kind of did in Book of Boba Fett, but
But now he's just like in a back the tank.
Yeah.
In limbo. Let's see. So that's Thursday. Friday, I assume there's some kind of hobby hut going up, Lego or painting or something.
Go check out my Lego builds. They're awesome. I've had a lot of fun.
And then Saturday is, of course, Geek Gauntlet. They cover everything.
Everything MCU related. So, not this weekend. The weekend after next, I will be at FanFest in Dallas. Actually, it's in Irving, which is a suburb of Dallas, but I will be at FanFest 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They just announced that Ezra Bridger himself will be at FanFest this week or this year. And still no Hayden. I'm sorry, Debbie. I apologize. I
am so upset.
I don't make the schedules. I just go with the flow.
I actually have money for an autograph.
I got money. It's earmarked strictly for Hayden. I keep it in a sock under my bed.
So. But yeah, I actually have money saved up to where I could actually purchase an autograph.
His is expensive too.
A piece of hair or something. I don't know.
Can I have a lock of your hair?
Please, sir. I wanted more.
Oh, Lordy.
How much is his autograph?
If I recall correctly, if you wanted, it was like $80 for an 8x10, or like $120 if you had something else. Like if you had an action figure you wanted him to sign, it was going to be like $120. So it was going to be even more for like and then you could spend like $160 and get it like personalized. Like he'd write, to my biggest fan, Debbie. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's the way it works.
I do have, and it was from one of the celebration, Star Wars celebrations here in Indianapolis. I'm pretty sure I still have the graphic novel of, I'm going to say Attack of the Clones. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Attack of the Clones, but it's the graphic novel. And I believe either the artist or the author signed it.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool to have Hayden sign it.
I've got one figure that I've got a Darth Vader over there that was signed by David Prowse that I wouldn't mind Hayden signing. Or this Darth Vader figure right here was from was a Celebration 3 exclusive. So being that Hayden was Darth Vader in Episode 3, and I think David Prowse has left us. I think did he pass?
I believe so. I
I
think
think he
so.
passed.
A few years back.
So sad. But I've got an autographed Darth Vader figure with David Prowse's name on it. So there. So there. It's all good. But anyway, so FanFest, that's in a couple of weeks. I'm excited. I do need to do a shout out to hang on, I done forgot his name now. I talked to this guy. I went to Cowtown Comic Con a few weekends ago. I spoke with Richard Dury. He created this comic book it's called Orphan Bloodline. It's really, really good. He's got the first 2 issues out. I've got both of them. Basically, it's it's almost like they take it's really weird because it's superheroes, but it's feasible superheroes. Am I making sense? It's like they take, oh well, you've got this blood disorder, so we're going to give you these bionic implants that help you deal with the blood disorder and help the blood disorder, not be as painful to you, but in the same time you can use it to have superpowers, kind of thing. So it's an interesting concept. The characters in it, I talked to him for a long time while we were at Cowtown Comic Con. The characters in it are easily transferable to if you do like online, not online gaming, role playing games and things like that. You could very easily take the characters from this comic book. They even give like stats and stuff. Like, okay, here's where he was born, and here's his powers and all this other stuff. So, I mean, you could transfer this to. I mean, it's very interactive as far as it's not just a comic book kind of thing. There's QR codes in the comic books to where you can scan the QR code, and as you're reading, it'll play the soundtrack for what's happening in the scene. So it's almost like you can watch it as a movie with the soundtrack playing in the background. It's really clever and really good. But he is starting his Kickstarter tonight for his 3rd book, or for the 3rd comic book. Let's see, if you want to go look at it, it is orphanbloodline.com. Orphanbloodline.com. For his Kickstarters, it's orphanbloodline.com/Kickstarter. So, and of course, and he's just he's great. I'm gonna try and do an interview with him just as a special event here because he really wants to get his comic book out there. I've enjoyed his comic book so far. It's really good. It's really good. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So, just a shout out to Richard. We're thinking about you, sir. Good stuff so far. Can't wait to see episode 3, issue 3. See, I'm stuck on TV now. Issue 3, sir. But other than that, Debbie, do we have anything else? No.
No, I mean, go to the website geeknewsnow.net. We have all kinds of articles up, and I believe there's supposed to be some coming out this week. I don't know what they're about. I haven't heard, but I always look forward to the articles coming out because I always read them. So,
also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, obviously, TikTok, Twitter, or X, whatever it's called these days,
and
Threads. Don't forget,
if you're not able to watch the videos, you can go to just about any podcast platform. And we find us there.
And I think the videos are all converted to where you can just sit and listen to podcasts. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button though, so that when we do cool stuff, like when I do an interview with Richard, because it'll be a special event kind of thing and not timed exactly, but make sure you hit the like and subscribe so you know when we do go live, especially for things like Cantina Happy Hour and Geek Gauntlet and Sith Dominion, all of our great shows and stuff. But that is going to be it for us. We will see you all next week when we do Loki season 2, episode 2. Y'all all have fun. We'll see you next week.